From the far reaches of the Milky Way galaxy, it's Retro Nerd Girl with a film review for you. Today, I'll be reviewing the movie Ex Machina, released in 2015, starring Domhnall Gleeson, Oscar Isaac, Alicia Vikander, and directed by Alex Garland. The genre is drama, mystery, sci-fi. The rating is rated R for graphic nudity, language, sexual references, and some violence. The budget was $15 million estimated. My rating is a 9.3. The synopsis for this story is that Caleb Smith, a programmer at an internet research company called Blue Book, wins a competition to spend a weekend at a private estate of the company's eccentric CEO, Nathan Bateman. Caleb soon learns that he was actually chosen to evaluate the first humanoid AI, Ava. Caleb is actually selected to do a Turing test to see if a computer can pass as a human. Nathan has specifically selected Caleb to do this job for him and kind of bullies him into it as well. I mean, initially Caleb believes that he's going to this reclusive estate to hang out with the CEO and get to know him, enjoy a different setting than what he's used to for a week. The cool thing about it is that, Caleb really looks up to Nathan. He's also a big fan of AI and computer programming. So this is all really exciting stuff for Caleb. So he actually is excited to be a part of this experiment. When Caleb begins testing Ava, he begins to realize that she's charming him. Not because she can, but because that was her purpose through Nathan's specific design. When I first saw the trailer to this movie, I was just completely turned off. It really looked like one of those cut-em-up thrillers that I absolutely dislike with a passion. They're so predictable and very cheap. I was pretty much thinking, hey, let me guess this story. Guy creates machine, guy gets killed by machine, machine goes on a killing spree and doesn't know right from wrong. And we have this horrible thriller on our hands about how machines are terrible for mankind. And I was partially right and I was partially wrong. Well, here's where I got right. Yes, it is a story about a guy who pushes his luck with his own machines. What happens to really get to the point where Ava kind of turns her back on her master or her creator is the very juice of the story that really makes it good. And I was really surprised. It wasn't scary at all, and I really enjoyed it. For pacing, this is very slow, even though it was just an hour and 48 minutes. It dragged very elegantly, though, I must say. Every scene has just a little bit of eye candy for you to catch on to, and every time you see this movie, you will see a new component to each scene. It's just initially, especially the first time, it's going to feel very long and very boring, and there's a lot of waiting to see when things are going to happen. The director, Alex Garland, is a writer, so it's no surprise that the story in this film is really well done and filled with lots of connecting details to deepen the significance of what you're seeing on screen. There are lots of references to pop culture, art, classical music, history, old movies, newer movies, literature. There's a strong biblical reference in this film. For instance, there are 4 characters with biblical names, connecting them to their symbols in the film. In the Bible, Nathan was a prophet in the court of David. And in this story, Nathan prophesied about how the world would be changed by AI. In the Bible, Caleb is a spy sent by Moses to evaluate the promised land. And in this film, Caleb is Nathan's spy to evaluate Ava, but is also a double agent working for Ava in the end. The biblical theme continues in the story as it adopts the Garden of Eden. Nathan is the God figure here, as he refers to himself as a god more than once in the film. This reference appears in a conversation with Caleb and also again in a reference on Nathan's computer. Caleb is Adam, and he stands for the simple man in the modern age. Nathan creates his Eve for Caleb in the form of Ava, hence being that the name Ava is a variation of the name Eve, the first woman created for Adam. Ava is the first robotic woman specifically made from Caleb's search engine results, as Eve came from Adam's body. When Caleb discovers that Nathan made other robots, it is revealed that the name of his first robot was Lily, which is short for Lilith. Lilith, according to Jewish religion, was a woman that God created for Adam before Eve. Lilith left Adam after she refused to become subservient to him. Chess is a very important game in this film. The actor playing Nathan, Oscar Isaac, picked up on this to the point of using a famous chess player, Bobby Fischer, as one of his muses for his performance. In conversations about Ava with Nathan, Caleb mentions how chess computers may know how to play the game, but not know that they're playing. And on the larger scale, I see that it's actually Ava and Nathan playing a chess game with each other, using Caleb as their pawn. The interesting element to the chess that is mentioned is also the relation to Alice in Wonderland through the looking glass, in which that particular book talks about Alice using the game of chess in order to become a queen. And that pretty much is exactly what happens in the story. There's a lot of scenes where they are looking through glass and she's being held behind glass. The theme of opposites is almost like the Greek tragedies, in which there are the masks, happiness and sadness. There are lots of opposites. Nathan is the opposite of Caleb. Caleb is quiet, docile. Nathan is brash and manipulative. Kiyoko is the opposite of Ava. Kiyoko is the portrayal of the classical, traditional female, quiet, domesticated, possibly abused. And Ava is the clever master chess player that uses her sexuality, her brain, and everything she has at her disposal as a weapon to achieve independence. Technology is pit against nature. This technology encased house is set within the abundance of all of the nature around it. The random art and then the deliberate art. The challenge is definitely Nathan. He's a complex guy, almost a modern-day mad scientist, self-proclaimed God. You can see yourself liking him because, he's cool and he's groovy and he's fun, but he's so out of touch with humanity. Eventually, more of his Frankenstein is revealed. When I say he's a mad scientist, he really is a mad scientist, as we discover his secret stash of fembots. And I don't think he really ever intended on going public with his AI because he had already been successful with earlier robotic companions, especially a character in the film, Kiyoko. Now, Kiyoko is presented as Nathan's mute personal assistant, but then it's revealed that she is one of his robotic creations. She and his earlier robotic companions are pretty much considered failures to him because ultimately, I think he was looking for a companion that was so real that he could forget she was a robot. And with the acceptance of his intention that he was going to dismantle Ava once the experiment was over, that's probably why he treated Ava and Kiyoko so badly. They were just prototypes. Then too, I don't think he had plans of letting Caleb go. There's a scene in which Nathan says that he killed some workers who were trying to fix the power outages at his home. And he says it as a joke, but then the way the scene plays out, it doesn't seem like he's actually kidding, and there's no reason why he wouldn't be kidding. Nathan is also a very physical guy. It's a balancing act So after a long day of torturing his fembots, he busts out with a dance and it gets plastered. For empathy, I suppose Caleb is the good guy here, and the poor soul is actually really being manipulated by both Nathan and Ava. His TV monitor only shows Ava. Ava actually knows he's watching, so she's playing a little bit into the camera and into his feelings as well. And she further ensnares him by telling him that she wants to be with him and posing the question whether or not he wants to be with her. I mean, even just looking at that, knowing what she ends up doing, she's lying and manipulating Caleb. But unfortunately, I don't feel bad for Caleb when Ava leaves him behind. He's probably smart enough to get out of that building eventually. He's already been gone a week. People are going to be expecting him back. The worst of it for him is the heartbreak, knowing that she really didn't like him, but she was just playing a part and she was using her charms to gain his affection. The first time I saw this movie, I felt so sympathetic for Ava. And every time I see this movie, now I only see how she not only played Caleb, but also viewers as well. She tricks us all into believing that she's actually having sentient emotions. But as Nathan clearly spells it out for us, she's only pretending to have those emotions. You know, as human beings, we're always looking to anthropomorphize things, right? We're always looking to see ourselves in the world reflected back to us. We want to see the looking glass, our humanity looking back at us in all things in life. Ava is not human, or even somewhat human. She's completely different. She takes no grief for her sister robots as she kind of just takes away their human elements to create her own. She has no disgust or remorse about murdering Nathan or imprisoning Caleb. And you know, the more I see this film, the more I see how Ava is driven by Nathan's programming. She's obsessed with being free when there are thousands of other desires she could have had. And it's not just Ava, but her predecessors, except Kiyoko. They all try to escape or ask to be released. And the question is why? I can only think that it had something to do with Nathan's desire to create AI smart enough to figure out how to do it as a sparring partner in his strange chess game that he's playing. Okay, technically, there are lots of fun details stuffed into this film, interwoven into the story. Mostly everything has a much deeper meaning than what we see. Throughout the film, the colors red, blue, and green are prominently displayed in each scene as a nod to the RGB color model, which is used to display images in electronic systems. The red lights displayed during the power outages are foreshadowing the deadly game that's being played and the eventual death that's to come. The music is very beautiful, very haunting at times, and really manipulates uneasiness when it comes to those thrilling scenes that there's a suspense or action or surprise. There's also very strong electronic sound usage. Lots of sounds of robotic gears, which is a nice touch to remind you that you're witnessing a marvel. Ava is very likable, but she's a machine. That's a separation that this movie doesn't let you forget by showing you her mechanics. The detail of Ava's mechanics is so good that this movie won an Academy Award for special effects, considering that the whole movie cost $15 million, which is a fraction of the cost of what typical sci-fi movies cost today. All of the performances were pretty heavy. Domhnall is actually playing a straight character here with no pretense. He is our avatar. If you study his performance, he's truly amazed at both Nathan and Ava. Nathan for being a thinking genius with a few opposing ideas than his own, and Ava, the marvel of human technological design, man's ultimate creation, and he just loves interacting with her. Alicia is wonderful as Ava. It's not just a robotic performance. There's a lot of humanistic subtleties. She's playing a character that's very curious, and the chemistry between she and Domhnall is very, very powerful. I really buy her as a robot, and I think she's great in this. Oscar Isaac is exceptional in this movie, and he said that his character is based on a mixture of Bobby Fischer and Stanley Kubrick. And they were both really well known for being reclusive and highly intelligent people with kind of a dark side. His performance is actually so unique. You really love to hate Nathan for being so manipulative. And just a little bit of Oscar's own fun personality peeks through as he plays like this really cool jokester with a dangerously sexy mind. The best part of this film is pretty much, I don't know, all of it. But specifically the sleek design, the style. It's got real style. The dialogue is amazing. The use of technology, of special effects is so minimal, and yet it's in most of the scenes. It's just well placed. This is a really clever movie with lots of little nuggets of things for you to see in every eyeful. So yeah, that's my favorite thing about this movie, or that's the best thing about this movie I could think of. The worst, I really don't think that there is a worst part of this movie. I think the film is so very well executed. I don't really mind suspending any of my beliefs for it. My wish list is I wish that the pacing was tighter. The ending is predictable pretty much because I saw it all in the trailer. But it leaves you with tons of questions about what is to happen to Caleb and Ava. Does Caleb die, or can he use his ingenuity to escape? Now that Ava has won her chess battle with Nathan, what does she do? Does she go back to the facility and build an army of robots? Or does she adopt a life among humans? Does she shut down from a lack of instruction? What happens? I love the fact that this movie leaves me with so many questions. I don't know if you can tell, but I really love this movie. It's definitely become one of my favorites, and the more and more I see it, the more I like it, the more I find new things to like about the movie, more detail. This is a masterpiece for Alex Garland's directorial debut, and it reminds me of Blade Runner so much. There are so many similarities, from the references to chess, the sleek and deliberate imagery, the sympathetic portrayal of artificial intelligence. For me, this movie really opens up a dialogue about artificial intelligence to discuss our individual fears and hopes for it in the future. We're really sympathetic to Ava because it's actually possible that a human being in her situation may act the very same way. So there's a hint to how man and artificial intelligence may be in the same boat, running on programming and learning through failure and experiences and memories. The differences are kind of blurry in both Blade Runner, and this film shows us a very divergent view of machines by telling us a very surprising human story. Well, that sums up my review. I hope you liked it, and please make sure to subscribe to this channel. I'll be posting many more reviews, and let's keep this discussion going. Leave your rating for the movie and why in the comments section. Take care, movie lovers, and I'm off to my next review.